Hello friend, and welcome to Ultimate Wealth TV, the internet's most passionate blog about personal finance and business success. I want to thank you for being with me today. I am your host, David Newby, and today, this week, we're going to be talking about a couple of very exciting things, some latest trends with the global financial picture, as well as some things that you can do strategically to put yourself and your family in the best position to profit and whatever you're going forward and whatever your endeavors are. I want to start with the Solomon wealth tip of the day today. I found out about an incident between two people I know where they had a disagreement, and one of the Solomon's proverbs says that it's to a man's glory to overlook an offense. So basically, you can choose to hang on to being offended. There's another proverb that says an offended brother is like an unyielding city or the bars of a citadel. So or an offended brother is more unyielding than a barred city. So the idea is that if you've offended someone, it's hard to negotiate or hard to make things work with that person until they get over that offense. So some ways you can practically apply that in your life. If someone has hurt you, instead of focusing on what the offense is, choose to forgive them and let go, because when you let it go, number one, it frees up your mental energy to focus on what's powerful and productive and moves you in the direction of what you want. That's the ultimate scorecard that I learned from my friend Marshall Silver. The other thing is that you are being the bigger person. And that's just really showing that you're not going to let other people's insults, mistakes, broken promises trip you up or slow you down in reaching your goals. So that's the Solomon wealth tip of the day. I'd encourage you to write down anybody that's offended you. This is something I learned from a 12-step program. And just choose to forgive them, let that go, and that way you can free up your mental energy and really focus on what is productive and helps you out. Now, this week I want to talk about some things going on in the global financial picture, as well as what you can do right now to best position yourself and your family. I became aware a few weeks ago of some of the things that the American Fed and some other federal central banks around the world are doing. And the bottom line is it seems that they are maybe printing a lot more money than we even hear about, in the multiple trillions of dollars. So the bottom line is that just reminded me that you don't want to put your faith in your money, in your dollar bills, your yen, your Deutschmarks, whatever currency you happen to keep your money in, even your gold, because any money can be debased. Over time, the only currency that's maintained value is silver and gold. So a couple of exciting things going on in my business world. My partners and I are getting really close to funding our first shipment here. It should be either, with our timeline that we're looking at, between 1 and 4 weeks from now. So that's really exciting. The reason why that's exciting is because although silver has come down quite a bit from its peak of a month and a half ago, gold looks like it's poised for a second run, even higher, maybe up to $1,800, $2,000 an ounce. And the Wall Street Journal just mentioned that recently. So if you are still holding a lot of your money in whatever your currency of the country you live in, I'd encourage you to consider converting some of that into precious metals and other currencies, because no currency that's on paper has ever maintained its value long term. They've all gone to zero eventually. Now sure, sometimes it doesn't happen for multiple hundreds of years, but with everything going on in the global economy, why risk it happening on your watch? Just diversify, protect yourself and your family. Second of all, I wanted to give you a couple of strategies of ways to deal with setbacks. I have one client, I have a few clients that we helped raise like $100,000 to $135,000 each in the past 6 weeks or so. And it's really interesting seeing the way different people act when they have that kind of opportunity in front of them. Some people already have a clearly defined game plan and start the process of getting this funding, and when the funding comes in, they freeze up and it makes them afraid and they don't move forward. Other people are just raising the money to get their hands on it because they're pursuing so many different opportunities and they want to be ready to seize opportunity. And the third type of client that I've noticed is a person who has a great game plan and they go and raise funding and they go and carry out their game plan. So those are really the three types of people. So I'd encourage you to think and ask yourself, what kind of person are you? A lot of people say, oh, if I only had the funding, I would do X, Y, and Z, and they talk about these plans they have. Well, what I've noticed is with some of my people, that first type of person, they have a plan, and then when we can raise them the money, and it's staring them in the face, they freeze up. And I think what that's really about is a fear of failure, or a fear of rejection. You know, if they fail and someone that's close to them is going to reject them, they want to avoid that pain. But here's what I want to point out to you. If you're that kind of person, and that's been your experience in the past, just project forward and realize if you don't take action, you're going to end up failing in the long term anyways. You know, if you just sit on your cash, it's going to keep getting less and less valuable. So that's what I want to encourage you about. Fail forward fast. That's what Watson, the founder of IBM, said. If you want to double your rate of success, simply double your rate of failure and you will succeed that much faster. Almost all super successful people have failed more than any of their friends or any of their peers. So that's the one big commonality they have, is not only having a great team of advisors and persistence, but they failed a lot. They're willing to fail. So I'd encourage you, be willing to fail. Realize it's just part of the learning process. And you know, we've been programmed by our education system that failure is bad. It's not. Failure is great. You learn from it. If you're the second kind of person, I want to commend you where you're just looking to raise funds because you realize that you're looking at a lot of opportunities and you want to be ready. I'll give you an example that might drive this home. We had a client about 2 months ago that could have raised like $250,000, and they've been sitting around, not raised the money, on the fence back and forth, and we just recently found out that they can only raise about $200,000. So in the course of about 6 weeks to 8 weeks, the amount of money that they could raise decreased by $50,000. So if you realize that you never know when an opportunity may strike and you want to be ready, I encourage you, that's very wise thinking. I encourage a lot of my clients, get access to the funding if you know that you're serious and you're going to take action on some of the things you're looking at. Because what you don't want to get into a situation is where you find a deal that requires $150,000 and you could have got $200,000 2 months ago, but you waited, and now when this deal is in front of you, you can only get $120,000 and you can't do the deal. So don't put yourself in that situation. One thing I heard from a friend of mine who's acquaintances with Richard Branson recently was that Richard Branson told him, if you're working on business deals, or not, when you are working on business deals, always have more than one banking relationship, have relationships with multiple bankers. And number two is get as much money as you can from your bankers before you need it. Because a lot of times when you need it is when they're the least likely to want to lend you more. So for example, if you have $100,000 in business lines of credit for your company and you want to expand and you want to get a couple $100,000 more, the best time to get that couple $100,000 is now in lines of credit. Expand those, because say you want to expand 4 months, 6 months from now, what if there's a banking crisis at the time? You might not be able to get that extra $200,000. But if you are getting access to that money now, always take advantage of what you can today, because we never know what's going to happen tomorrow. And that's a teaching of Solomon as well. No one knows tomorrow, so don't brag about tomorrow. You never know what a day may bring forth. If you're that third kind of person where you have a game plan and you follow through, then you're really the ideal type of person. You plan things out, you make a plan, you get advice from counselors, and then you prepare yourself to be able to seize that opportunity. So if you need funding, you just bring in funding as part of your process. I want to close with this point. They say sometimes that success, 90% of success or 80% of success, one of those two, is just showing up. I want to strongly impress upon you that remaining 10% to 20% of success is following through. Having a team of advisors, making good decisions, avoiding major mistakes. It's really key for that other 15%. And that last 5% is following through at the finish line. A lot of people will go 95% of the way towards being successful, and then they sabotage themselves when they have just that last little 5% to go. So I want to encourage you, don't self-sabotage. If you find yourself freezing up because of fear, or you're about, even maybe you have a fear of success, a lot of people are concerned that you know, they're standing at the door of their victory, and they think, man, what if I make all this money and I turn into a jerk, and you know, my wife leaves me, or my friends don't want to be around me anymore. And a lot of people have a very real fear of success. Excuse me. So I'd encourage you, be willing to look inward and work on yourself. That's really how you're going to keep developing as a person and taking bigger and bolder action. So don't self-sabotage. If you notice you're doing that, look to identify what is the root of your fear. Get some counseling for that. If you believe in God, get some prayer for it. I believe in praying with a large group of people. You know, it's the same thing as a 12-step concept. When you are with a group of people, you feel support, just that moral support of other people have similar struggles. A lot of times just getting that stuff off your chest and vocalizing whatever you're dealing with helps you free up that mental space again, like I talked about earlier, and just being able to take that action and finish the process. So I'd encourage you, be a person of action. Realize that if you're in business, you are the you have the most faith of anybody in the population. You're willing to take risk. You're willing to put yourself out there. You're willing to create new possibilities for yourself. So I just want to commend you that wherever you are, you can be better, and you can do more, and your life can matter and be an amazing example for others to follow. So I'd encourage you, be that person that inspires other people. Inspire yourself, inspire your family, inspire your friends. You know, you be the person, like Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. So I've really noticed with even with a couple of my partners I've had issues with lately, where I've had some people not honor some agreements, and it's been very challenging. So you know, it's okay sometimes to give yourself a couple of days just to, you know, process the, man, you feel bad about it, and then course correct, get back on the horse and take action with whatever you can do. You know, don't let the fact that somebody else didn't do something they were supposed to do stop you. You know, keep taking action and keep being persistent, keep acting in faith, and you are going to get to your, you are going to fulfill your plan. You are going to get to whatever your end target is. So I'm going to leave you with the question of the day. It's June 2011. What's been the biggest lesson you've learned this spring as it relates to your business or personal? And what have you found is the best way for you to bounce back from a challenge, or to deal with a challenge when you're disappointed, or something comes up? What's your maybe your fearful reaction, and what have you found is a more productive way to deal with it that's worked for you? So I'm going to sign off for now. I encourage you to leverage all you've got to get all that you want, and God bless you. I'll talk to you soon.